Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
All right, let's move on to talking about Ahsoka. Dave Filoni just did an interview with Collider.
Sort of. I saw it.
Yeah, you did see it.
He answered, no questions.
Yeah, that's... because he knows how to play the rules. When they ask him something, he goes, sure. And you're like, okay.
Sure what?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very vague in this, but still things to glean from it, I think.
Things to glean. I think some interesting information.
There was one thing I really thought was interesting, but yeah.
I'm sure I'll cover it, and then you can cover it. First, he was asked if there were any behind-the-scenes projects that were not announced yet, and he said sure.
How many?
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm sure they're working on things that they haven't announced yet. I mean, obviously, you have to be.
They're Disney. They're planners.
Well, they're not planners was the problem with the sequels.
Yes, but now they're planners.
Yeah.
They learned to become planners.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they've got lots in the works. Not about lots, but certainly things are in the works behind the scenes.
Then he was asked how many episodes there were in Ahsoka, and he kind of was just like, well, you've seen how many directors we have. I'm like, you don't have to be vague about how many episodes you have now. So they're guessing it's between 8 and 10. Ray Stevenson, who will be playing...
Orange lightsaber guy?
I think his name was Brendan Skull.
Oh, yeah, he does have a name, yeah.
Yeah, he does have a name.
I prefer orange lightsaber guy.
Okay, then. He looks like a knight. I like him a lot, actually.
He does. He's got a good look, good vibe to him, yeah.
He said there's 8 episodes.
There's 8 episodes.
There's 6 directors, but Filoni has admitted in this interview that he's directed 2 of them, and I'm assuming another one has directed 2 of them.
There's 8 episodes.
So there's most likely 8 episodes.
I don't know why that's got to be a secret.
Why does that have to be a secret? Dave?
Sometimes I really wonder, why so many of these things have to be secrets.
Maybe he has to clear anything he says with Disney because he didn't know what they'd ask, and he was like, Disney didn't give me permission on this one yet.
He seems, it's probably what it is. It's probably Disney wants to officially announce it, or Lucasfilm does, so... Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's so strange that he wants to adhere so much to Lucas, how Lucas does things or did things. And yet, for those who remember back in the prequel days when they were coming out, there were these webisodes that were literally behind the scenes looks at the movies before they came out or as they were being filmed. George Lucas was an open book with these things. Filoni is the opposite in that respect.
I don't know if it's his choice though.
I think to a degree it is. I'm not saying he's allowed to go out there and spoil everything. Not that he would, even if he was. But I think it's a very conscious decision on his part to not put anything out there. He wants people to be surprised, which is cool. I get it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes he's a little too tight-lipped, I think.
What? Then Collider asked him, and I think this is the part where you'll be most interested. They asked him about runtimes, and Filoni said they have tight runtimes to keep the momentum going. That the current cuts of the episodes are on average slightly longer than The Mandalorian's. Specifically, this is his quote, "That's an interesting question. I would say it's pretty relative when you do this kind of work. One thing John and I are very adamant about is we try to cut it down and strip it down to keep it moving. It's definitely a faster and more intense rule than George has. My episodes have actually started pretty long, because I wrote them all, so they are a little different. Probably relative to other stuff that I've written and done, like the episode The Jedi. If it's gotta be tight and fast because I need the action to work, it's gonna be shorter. But I would say they are in the same range as the Mandalorian episodes, maybe on average a little longer, but I don't know where they are right now in the most recent cuts that I've done, but I would say it's in the same range."
Why? Why do you cut so much out? Why?
I don't like them using the word stripping them down.
It makes it sound like he's writing episodes that would be 2 hours long and end up 30 minutes.
And I understand you do want to make sure you keep them concise.
Yeah, you want a good pace. You want to,
you don't want to be people watching it wondering what's taking so long. But
I don't think concise is the right word. But let it be as long as it needs to be to tell the story you want to tell. Don't try to be holding yourself to this rule that it has to always be fast paced. Otherwise, people are going to have an ADD moment and turn the TV off.
That's not the case.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so. I think that allowing the show to breathe is usually a good thing. I mean, honestly, we haven't seen this yet, so we don't know what the cuts are. Sure. We have no idea what they're cutting out. I mean, they might be showing a long scene of Ahsoka reconstructing lightsabers. I don't really know.
Okay, possibly.
Hu Yang rebuilding the darksaber.
Somebody has crushed this with their bare hand. Incredible.
Allow me to fix this. With my bare hands. Beskar is actually pretty weak.
Maybe it is.
This comment is just interesting all around because...
It's strange.
Yeah, because you can't tell, obviously, without seeing the show, if you feel they may have cut too much, or did they not cut enough?
I was talking about it the other day in one of our reviews together, that one of the problems I feel with The Mandalorian is it always tries to speed through everything. It feels like it never wants to slow down and just explore the characters for like 2 extra minutes. Mm-hmm. And now I hear this and I'm like, okay, I guess I was onto something.
Well, in one episode that they did that in, the Pershing episode where they slowed it down a bit, I thought went really well.
I thought it was good.
I liked to see Pershing bored at his desk at work. It was good background information to understand why he would go and risk everything.
I think the problem with that is, for some people, maybe a lot of people, is it went too far in the other direction. Like, I like that episode. I'm fine with that episode because I don't mind a slow-paced show. But at the same time, I do understand watching Star Wars and expecting a bit of a pace and for things to move. And that one went so far the other way that I do understand why some people are like, that's just, it doesn't fit in The Mandalorian.
Right.
They need a middle ground here. Yeah. Yes.
Then to kind of wrap up the interview, they did ask what arcs of Rebels should people watch kind of coming into Ahsoka. Dave said you don't have to watch any of Rebels to come into this show.
Which is good. That's how it should be.
But they're all on Disney Plus, so if you want to, you can. He suggested possibly starting at the episode called Jedi Knight, where something sad happens to Kanan. And
yeah, something real sad.
He also said just watching season 4 would definitely be enough, but it might make you want to watch all of Rebels. But he said season 4 is definitely the best one to watch if you want to watch something in preparation. It's going to get you enough details going into Ahsoka. You'll be on par.
It's got Thrawn in there. It's what happens to Ezra, obviously.
The important things.
Yeah, the things that are going to be most relevant, I think, to Ahsoka.
The fact that she's alive.
You're probably not going to watch that season 1 episode where they paint a TIE fighter. Even though that does come back. It comes back.
It does come back. They played the long game with the Malone.
They did play the long game with the yellow TIE fighter, or whatever color it was now.
It's like yellow and checkered.
Yeah, it was all weird.
It was really fancy. Sabine had a lot of free time that week.
She must have.
All right, let's move into the next topic. Boba Fett actor Temuera Morrison did a Q&A panel with Supernova, Comic-Con, and Gaming Convention. They asked him at this if he was supposed to cameo in The Mandalorian Season 3, like we all expected and thought he would. He's on the darn poster.
I mean, it's a scene from the Book of Boba Fett, but he is on the poster.
He said, I was supposed to be in The Mandalorian Season 3, but nobody rang me. I was waiting for the phone call in New Zealand, waiting and wanting to give up.
Maybe he was on the beach practicing his lines when the call came in.
Maybe. He also made some pretty funny comments. He said, well, that Mando guy stole a few chapters of my book. It was painful watching him turn up with some black new lethal sword. And the way he turned up in my Book of Boba, he just destroyed everybody. I'm sure this guy is ruining my show, but I couldn't say anything. I'm not the writer, so I have to bear it, I guess.
He kicked more ass than Boba did in his own show.
It's so sad.
It is kind of sad. That's what we wanted Boba to be doing, and Mando comes in and does it, and
yeah. Writers.
If Don't they even have them.
As for a possible return to Star Wars, Morrison claimed that there are changes happening around Disney. While he didn't confirm or deny that he was going to be recast, he did say the company's going to be making a few cutbacks. So there's uncertainty now if Boba Fett will ever return. Specifically, here is what he said. I think there are a few changes going on. We also come under the big umbrella known as Disney now, too. So it's one of the last few conversations we had in LA. The conversation started like, oh look, we're having a few changes, we're having a few cutbacks, and when you hear that word on the other end of the line, it's no good trying to negotiate any more money, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds like he was lined up for something. Book of Boba Fett Season 2, and it got cut?
Well, we keep hearing that the culmination stuff that's coming will wrap up Book of Boba Fett 2. Do they literally just mean the Mandalorian stuff out of the book?
I don't know, because nothing got... There was nothing from Book of Boba... I mean, other than obviously Grogu and Din being back together, but there was like nothing from the Book of Boba Fett other than that kind of thing that was really...
got name dropped. That was it.
Yeah, but there was nothing really relevant to it
at all.
Well,
the cutbacks statement worries me because we know that Disney's actually doing a whole bunch of layoffs and stuff around the company right now.
Like right now, yes.
Literally right now, these rounds of layoffs and cutbacks, and it's kind of worrisome. I don't want this to affect Star Wars. I know that's horrible, but I don't want these people to lose their jobs either.
Obviously, yeah.
Their livelihood
Yeah,
because Disney's not making enough Disney dollars.
Well, they got to pump out better quality content. I think from the start, they've had this idea that all they have to do is put the Star Wars logo on it and it's going to sell. And they should have learned their lesson from the sequel trilogy that...
Well, and Marvel's struggling a little bit right now, too.
Well, they have the same kind of problem. They've decided that with Phase 4, they were kind of just play experiment and just wrote a bunch of characters and random stories, and that didn't work.
Well, in like a couple weeks or something, or a week and a half or whatever, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out, and early raving says that it's the darkest Marvel film to date, and that it's really emotional and good.
We'll see.
Exactly.
The trailers certainly don't make it look dark. They make it look goofier than the other two, which I like. I like the first one. The second one is not as good, and we'll see.
We'll see. And last piece of news today, we just heard that Carrie Fisher is going to be honored on May the 4th with a star on the Walk of Fame.
Very cool. It's unfortunate she
About
won't be
time.
It's unfortunate she won't be, of course.
Well, it is about time. Don't Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford already have one?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
She's part of the big three.
Yeah. I hope that they find room near them. Be nice. They probably don't.
I don't, yeah.
They don't like save spaces for
it's reserved for when we finally give Carrie Fisher her star. No.
Yeah, we'll just wait.
Though I am sure Mark Hamill and probably Harrison Ford and others will be there.
I hope so. Probably.
I mean, Mark Hamill's always considered her like a sister.
Yeah,
so I'd
he'll be there.
Stunned if he wasn't there.
And of course, her daughter will be there.
Yeah. Who's kind of picked up the Star Wars mantle a little bit, which is cool. But anyway, that is going to be all we got for you this time. So now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you make of Dave Filoni's comments. I know he likes to be cryptic, but sometimes he's a little too cryptic. Anyway, take to the comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.